Good afternoon and welcome to this event organized by the Arbitration Commission of ICC Italy. So on behalf of ICC Italy and myself, of course, I wish to welcome all participants. I think we will start in maybe another minute. I see that participants are rapidly joining us, so only 1 minute, and then we will start. Provide certain services, for instance, to services to certain banks, prohibiting investments and co-investments with Russian funds, and then banning the export of given products. And in light of the sanctions, then Russia developed a series of countermeasures, also preparing a list of ICC Italy. Professor Barbara De Donno, she couldn't join for other commitments, so she just asked me to address you her warm regards and her warm thank. Going to today's seminar, of course, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has changed the world in a fundamental adopted as a constant period of time. And this conflict in the heart of Europe has clearly an aggression, and even if it was described as a special military operation. And being a professor of international law, I cannot refrain from recalling the two core principles of the United Nations. First, that the member states must refrain from the use of force adopted as a constant, except in cases of self-defense and when authorized by the Security Council. And second, the duty to protect human rights, fundamental human rights. So, of course, speaking of the conflict in Ukraine raises a lot of different issues as a series of complex issues. And we know that the legal instruments that have been adopted as a consequence of the attack of the Russian Federation are the heavy economic and diplomatic sanctions. And so, consequently, the European Union and also the US took different packages of sanctions, which were aimed at blocking individuals and entities from belonging to the Russian country, prohibiting to provide certain services, for instance, to services to certain banks, prohibiting investments and co-investments with Russian funds, and then banning the export of given products. And in light of the sanctions, then Russia developed a series of countermeasures, also preparing a list of unfriendly states, which includes all the European countries. We know that just recently, maybe two days ago, the UK agreement was signed in order to ban export of Russian oil to the European countries. So there is a lot to say about this situation, very serious situation, and ICC Italy is trying to arbitrate, supporting the business community in the only possible way, that is sharing knowledge with experts. And that is why today we will be dealing with two different topics. First, we will deal with the substance of the main issue, the effects of the sanctions and the problems created by the enforcement and compliance with sanctions. In addition, we will also touch the problem of managing the disputes which are arising out of the conflict, arising out of the application of sanctions, and more in general, the impact of the conflict on ongoing proceedings. And on this particular topic, we have already benefited from a very interesting seminar, which was mainly focused on arbitral institution. It was organized by Cecilia Carrara a few weeks ago. Today, we will try to offer a slightly different perspective. And so I wish to introduce to you the today's speakers and thank them for being with us. So we will, I'm glad to introduce to you the first speaker, Fabio Cozzi. And only a few words about Fabio, cases and litigation and arbitration department at Delfino Wilkie Farr & Gallagher in Milan. And he has a long experience in dispute resolution, both litigation and arbitration. But mainly he has a very deep knowledge of international sanctions. And Fabio previously worked in Washington, D.C., dealing with international sanctions related cases, and also he had a chance to directly support the litigation and compliance department of a European financial institution involved in a major case of sanction violations. So this is, we understand that Fabio is extremely busy in these most recent days. Then we have the pleasure to have with us Iryna Glushchenko. Iryna is a practitioner. She mainly focused on investment and commercial arbitration and negotiation, and she has an extensive experience as a practitioner at law firms in France and Ukraine. She does research and teaches investment arbitration originally in the Kyiv Mohyla Academy, then in the University of Glasgow, and now as a guest lecturer or guest professor, visiting professor at Roma Tre. She has represented clients at all stages of dispute in investment arbitrations under the major sets of rules and institutions, and also an experience in different sectors: energy, mining, pharmaceuticals, hospitality, and shareholders liability, licensing agreement, and a very wide experience. What I'm also happy to mention is that Iryna founded the Eastern European Foreign Investment Moot Court. So that's, her active engagement in the university is clear. It's a student competition and an educational platform, bringing together experienced practitioners from around the world.